Now there is fear the fruit and vegetable supply may be hit. Jerold Mande is professor of nutrition science and policy at Tufts University. He's the former undersecretary for food safety. Mr. Mande, it's good to have you back, though it means we've got more problems in our food system. How widespread now do we think about what's happening with fruits and vegetables?
Well, thank you, Scott. It's good to be back with you again, but you're right. It means that there are problems in the food supply. The good news is I think the problems are different here. Produce, the supply is very different than our meat supply. Our meat supply is very concentrated in a few providers. With produce, you have so many different farms and packagers and others involved. So I think the good news is you're going to see less disruption than we saw with meat. The concerning news is that workers are becoming ill and dying as a result of this illness, and that could be prevented.
Well, social distancing is obviously easier in the fields than a plant, but you do have packaged vegetable and fruit companies that have to deal with shoulder-to-shoulder, so to speak, conditions.
That's correct. But actually, the problem is in both places. In the farm, you're absolutely right. Outdoor, it seems the transmission of the virus is much less, and so there isn't concern there. But it's the housing. These are often migrant workers, workers on particular visas, and they're housed in conditions where they're close together, and then they're brought by buses to the fields where they're close together. So the infections that are occurring on the farms are in those other places and very serious as well. But you're also correct that a greater concern is in these packaging facilities where the demand for lower cost and trying to go at a higher speed puts those workers at risk. And also, in particular, there's a problem with protective equipment. The federal government continues not to be able to provide that for workers. It's interesting in farming, because of pesticide applications, others, N95 masks, those types of respirators are things that they commonly had. They've lost access to them because the federal government hasn't provided it.
How do we think about what prices may do for the consumer? We've seen prices go up, food inflation when it comes to beef, red meat. What about fruits and vegetables?
I think that food overall, the prices are increasing because of the challenges of providing the supply, the costs, the workers. So you're going to see some increase, but hopefully not too much, and hopefully it won't be, there's some, but not that much.
Haven't had really any answers of yes on this to date when it relates to the contamination of the food product itself. Are you concerned at all about that?
No, that's one thing we know well. We understand food safety. This illness is not transmitted through our food. And so one concern people should not have is that this food might present a risk to them. They're safe there. The concern is that our fellow citizens, people who are working in the farms, working in the packaging facilities, are getting sick. They're dying. And if the federal government would do more, that could be prevented.